Hey, it's Jess the Ska Kid at Palace Day Sheila Reno. Knights of the Round Table are behind us, and in front of you all is Action Boy from Lake County. We'll do introductions to start.
I'm David, I play guitar.
I'm Mike, I sing songs.
I'm Andrew, I hit stuff.
I'm Josh and I play bass.
Yay! And you guys are from Lake County.
Yep.
All right, but like you cover the whole county.
Yeah. We've been everywhere at this point.
So where do you practice?
Waukegan now, yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. How long have you been a band?
Should I take that one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
you
you're the longest member.
So, we've been a band for almost 4 years now. I'm the only founding member left. So we were a totally different band before with different people. And Andrew, besides me, Andrew is the second oldest, right? You've been in Action Boy for over a year now?
Yeah, about a year now.
And then David, about a year.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then
Josh, how many months?
Couple months.
it's been
October.
9 months. Yeah.
October.
Yeah, that's 6 months. Yeah, 6 months. So,
It's 6 months.
so we've been a band for a while, but we had a rough patch where some people left. But I think this is Action Boy 2.0. You know, we got a drummer who's amazing, bass player who's amazing. We're now a 4-piece, so you know things have gotten better. It was scary for me initially when everybody left, but now, you know, I think we're better than we were before.
What causes a band to break up?
Lots of stuff.
Yeah, lots of
that-
stuff does.
Lots of
big
stuff that we
question.
probably shouldn't say.
So, okay.
I ask this question only because there has been an ongoing theme recently with almost every single person who has been on this show, that there has been a lot of turnover, and you have like 1 or 2 founding members are like, oh, I've been in the band the longest, and it's a year. So like, what happened to make you dissolve but then re-evolve and become what you are now?
So the first instance, I really can't talk too much about. I won't go into too much detail.
That's
but
fine.
the first instance was a drummer, and we just had a personal falling out, and that was, you know, horrible because this, you know, I'm trying to be vague, but this was someone who I considered a very close friend, and we had a personal falling out. And then the second one was a little more.
You talking about Cameron this time?
Yeah.
I'm trying to be vague, but that guy's gonna just drop all the names.
well, you could say his name now because he actually, that was more of like.
Cameron actually got me on bass at first to take his spot.
He had another band.
Yeah,
And
I was in a metal band actually called Insurgents
No
Incorporated.
shit, eh?
But we were doing nothing at that point, so I just asked Cameron, you know, any bands that are doing anything? Because my other guitar player is also going up to Alaska to do work on a boat. It's a bit of a long
dangerous
story.
fishing.
He made it. He made a fuck ton of
That's
money.
not. That's
Legit?
not a
He's
joke.
gonna go do that?
No,
He
he
was.
already did it. He got fired. He said it's extremely rough work. Like you work like 20 hours some days. You stay.
You know you're
up
on camera,
days.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, our drummer left, and then the bass player left. He was in a different band, and they were doing really well. They were doing really well, and he went to join that band and do that full time. And he introduced me to David, and that's how we met David. So.
You have the highest quality production around.
Hey yo.
So yeah, it's a lot of things. It's a lot of it's a lot of stuff, and I can do 2 things at
Dude,
once.
he's kicking ass in interviews.
And
Oh
sorry.
my god!
There you go. All right.
You okay, Jess?
I'm okay.
So yeah, it's a lot of stuff, but yeah. So at that point, I had to make a decision whether or not I wanted to continue before anyone else joined. And I think the decision in my mind was, in 20 years from now, am I going to regret quitting? Am I going to regret stopping at this point? And the answer was yes. So I tried to find anyone I could, and luckily I found what I think is the better version of this band.
So you got pulled in because of a former member. So how
Yes.
did you come to acquire these two?
So Andrew, I met through. I really love Andrew.
I can see it. Look at that. Aww.
So we had played at the Grays Lake Oasis a few times, and yeah. So I messaged somebody from there, and usually when you're looking for drummers, the answer is, oh, I know this guy, but he's already in a band. And they introduced me to Andrew, and it was like, yeah, he's not really doing anything right now. And so I went to his house a week before this. I had messaged him, and I was like, all right, let's work on these 3 songs. Let's just do this. Let's get your toe in the water, so to speak. And I showed up to practice, and we did the 3 songs, and I was like, okay, I'm going to head out. And he's like, well, I know the rest of the songs. And I was like, are you kidding me, dude? And he had
You want to come up for a drink? No, that's okay. I'll go home. But it might be good.
No, he had taken the time to learn all of our songs.
Oh, wow.
When I showed up to try him out for drums. So that was the only tryout I did. And he killed it. And maybe a week later, I think he was like, yeah, some of these drum beats are simple. Do you mind if I spice it up a bit? And I was like, sure, do whatever you want. And he made every song better. And so that's how I met Andrew. It was a suggestion from somebody who works at the Oasis. Christian, actually.
Christian Jensen. Shout out.
Yeah, if he's out there. But yeah, that was great. So that's how I met Andrew. And then Josh was in an awesome band called Dead by Friday.
Which is tomorrow, by the way. You all might be dead by Friday.
And he had hired me to work on his amplifier. At one point, we were talking. They did a Dead by Friday show, and then I don't know what led to you guys stopping what you're doing, or if you're still doing it. But at some point, he wasn't doing that anymore, and I'd asked him to fill in, and he was just a fill-in for a long time, and then he finally made the decision, because we really wanted him to stick around. He made the decision to stick around, so now he's a full-time member. So I think that's the biggest thing that's helped, is connections through other bands. If anyone has a band out there and you're looking for members, go find other bands that have broken up. As shitty as
You can have the scraps.
yeah.
Oh.
And they're not that bad. They're not that bad. You've seen it, right?
They're not that bad.
Yeah.
With a slash. Ooh. So, right? Other bands. Are you still in any other band?
I'm sort of in Insurgents, but we're not really active right
What
now.
kind of metal is that?
Like thrash death metal.
Okay.
I know,
thought
it sounds just like Action Boy, but with screaming.
No, it doesn't at all. You can't fool me. I've been fully indoctrinated into the fucking metal scene and know Chicago's metal scene pretty well. No, and Milwaukee. Oh, God.
We have a good video of him headbanging on our... Did it in slow-mo and everything.
Headbanging, or was he helicoptering? There's a difference.
He got me in slow motion. I look goddamn majestic.
You're supposed to do this.
He looked like a friggin' unicorn.
He did.
It was beautiful. I cried a little.
So I ask, are you in any other band? This is it. You?
Nope.
I know that you're in the Almas.
Yes.
You in any other band?
I mean, technically Dead by Friday still.
Okay.
But we're inactive, taking a personal hiatus, I guess, for our own. Really, it was like our own mental health. Really, it was kind of wearing us out. After 5 years, we finally got an EP out, and then, it was just, we're all growing up too. We were a high school band when we started, and our guitar player lives in Milwaukee, our singer lives in Chicago, and 3 of us still live in Lake County. And it was kind of like just tough for us to make everything work. So we're hanging out still, we're jamming and writing new songs, but we'll play a show here and there, but nothing too serious. The Almas, on the other hand,
Play a lot.
play a lot. We're gonna break 40 shows by August and something like that. So
Wow.
You guys counted?
yeah.
Should I have been doing that?
Yes.
Well, we're trying to get some
It's okay,
endorsements,
that's on
and
Facebook
so
is for.
like
Yeah.
with the endorsements, you gotta like have a certain amount of shows during the year to get the endorsements.
Wow.
So like that's why we're counting. So.
Specifically with gear, if you wanted, say, Dean Guitar to sponsor you or endorse you, or any sort of string company, you have to play X number of shows. And normally they send you these things and then say you need to video or tag us in these other events, and they list usually other events you need to participate in.
Wow.
It's not terribly hard to get an endorsement, and normally places give you lots of free shit just cause. Like, here's a t-shirt, wear it while you play your gig and play our stuff, say that you did it, sort of thing.
Yeah, Frank's trying to get it endorsed by Hagstrom Guitars, because that's all he plays, and he swears by them. So
That's cool.
You know, that's why we're trying to break 40, you know, for the year. But you know, at this point, we're going to do it by August. So.
Awesome, man.
I ask this because various reasons why bands break up is usually because there is conflict or there are other commitments. Do you feel as if these other commitments to these other bands would be something that could potentially be detrimental to what Action Boy is?
Well, the manager for the Almas, he's my roommate and a very good friend of mine too. So
Hi, Adam.
Yeah, hi Adam, if you're watching.
He could be if you invited him.
He actually takes care of all of our scheduling conflicts if they would come up.
Gotcha.
So he has access to both of our calendars.
And he does a
keep
great
calendars.
job.
And so, I mean, on my phone, I have both of the calendars lined up. So if someone says in one band, "Is the show open?
Mm-hmm.
You know, is this day open?" We can say no because I have an Action Boy show,
Gotcha.
and vice versa. So it's really easy in that way to do that. So, and we're all communicating with each other because we're all friends too.
Good.
So
Initially, I had a rule after Cameron had left, because the whole reason he left is because he had another band. And my rule was I'm not going to work with anybody else who has another serious band.
And then I come right up.
Yeah.
And then his replacement said, "Hey, by the way, though."
Yep. And then Josh comes around, and then it was like, well, these guys are doing a good job at communicating what's going on. It's not affecting Action Boy in any way at this point. I don't think there's been a conflict that we haven't been able to resolve.
no, it's all like, you know, you can't be bitter about it. You know, it's like, you know, well, I have this show, so I have to do this on this day. But we both bands, we schedule out pretty far ahead that, you know, we can plan time for each band.
And it helps that we like the other bands, like we like Insurgents, we like the Almas. You know, it's not like something we're competing against. You know, I like those other bands, so it's not as much of a competition. We want to see them do well.
Yeah, if you didn't like my band, I'd have to stab you.
Yeah, that's
He
understandable.
wouldn't quit. Did you hear that? That's commitment. He's not gonna fucking leave. He's gonna kill your ass.
You know what? I've had
That's
a
a
little
true
bit of a
friend.
history with stabbing, so I understand. So.
So who is the primary, like, if somebody wanted to book you guys and get in touch with you to get you on a gig, who does all the primary booking and responsible for marketing and all of that? Is that you, Mike?
A little bit.
Yeah, a
I'm
little?
trying to teach Andrew, and not so much teach, but just pass over
Nope,
the torch.
it's definitely the teaching thing. Trust
Yeah.
me, it's a teaching thing.
It is. But, yeah, that's usually me you get a hold of on any format. Anything you can message Action Boy on, usually I'm the first response, unless I'm messaging Andrew telling him what to say.
Okay. So here's my question. Was the requirement to come on this show terribly fucking difficult that you couldn't figure out or know how to do it? Like the page, subscribe to YouTube. Was that hard for anybody sitting here?
No.
You can do it fucking too! You can do it! I'm a dick. But the reason why I do this is because, like Mike just said, so that one person is not solely responsible. The whole focus of this is networking. Would you say that using social media provides you a more, I would say, not well-informed, but like adequate assessment of being able to obtain venues, bands, different record labels, and have a medium to get your name out there?
No, it is extremely helpful when everyone's participating in that, because we don't all have the same friends. We don't. Just flat out, you know, that's...
Oh my god! Like, so all of you kind of invited people to watch this because you all don't have the same friends?
Yep.
fucking novel.
And I'm sure they'll all attest to this, that I'm a bit of a dick. And
I'm
I'll
a dick too.
And I'll send messages like, did you do this? Hey, you haven't, posted anything about the new album on your page. And I'll totally be that person in the band. And so I understand these things, and, I do feel a little bit bad saying those things, but in hindsight, it always works to our advantage.
Good, yes. I would say if you're all in agreement that this is the sort of platform that you want to push, because regardless, what you want to do is create a thumbprint online. So if you have Bandcamp and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, etc., and all of those things are linked, and all of you are posting, and all of you are sharing to different people, then that creates more of the network.
Yep.
So for people who are like, I don't do any of that, I just use a street team. Do you feel like a street team would be effective in a similar fashion to getting the word out?
Well, to a small extent, like if you're at local shows and you're meeting people and you're good at networking. I mean, I'm not personally, but
I think if you're already a huge band, and there's people out there who, love your band and they would die for your band, and they are going to be your street team members, it could work. But a band our size, no, never. That doesn't exist.
So if you've been around for almost 4 years, besides the new EP that you just released, what other music is available to people who heard it tonight and was like, that rocked?
We have the first EP, which is called Up in Disarray, and that has 4 songs on it. You can check that out on Bandcamp, on our Facebook, on SoundCloud, iTunes. I've worked very hard to get it on every platform, Spotify, whatever.
Have you cracked Pandora?
You know what? I think so. I think the service that we go through does all of them.
So that brings me to my next question. A service. Who are you paying to get your name on these platforms?
CD Baby.
So you don't own any of the rights of your music then, hey? And I say this, because we just interviewed somebody named James White, who has done music forever. He's in the Trees of Life. And when you pay for, say, a CD Baby or some sort of thing,
Jess the Ska Kid, whatever.
right, to distribute your music, you lose revenue, and you lose some of the right to claim your music. So, when I play your music on my show, it pops up on YouTube that it has been flagged for a copyright violation, not by you, but by CD Baby, because they don't get the revenue, which means that you would never even know if anybody even listened to your stuff, because you're getting a percentage of what comes into them. But if you post your own shit and make it available through you only and do a PayPal, you get all of the revenue yourself. Did you know that?
Yeah, no, that's absolutely 100% correct, and that's kind of the deal with the devil, that as a band or any artist, you have to choose to make, Andrew and I this time with the new EP sat down and looked through everything, and there was even a person, we had thought, because you can change the royalties. That was one of the pages that we had looked at, and you can pick new people, and we thought about including the old members, and that was a brief conversation we had. But yeah, it's unfortunate. It's something that we've again and again decided was worth it, because what's the clear path to iTunes? So many people listen to us on iTunes, and we make money from iTunes. And it is upsetting, because I remember I actually read the terms of service. I know a lot of people don't, but I did. And they tell you flat out, if anyone plays your stuff on YouTube, if anyone does this, we're going to flag it, and all of that stuff. And unfortunately, you have to make those decisions, because I've seen the bands that only went SoundCloud and Bandcamp, and the messages they got, well, how do I listen to you on Spotify? How do I listen to you on iTunes? And they didn't have an answer. And so, it is a difficult decision to make. It breaks my heart to do it that way. But,
Do you think that we could be revolutionary enough if we all agreed as this underground music thing that we're doing, if we decided to reclaim it ourselves, that we could have our own platforms? And we would be able to break the music industry in such a way that bands that are underground, that release their own shit so that they have their own royalty.
Bring it down.
I'm all about revolution, and after listening to so many people that pay money so that they can't earn money, and I know that you're earning money, okay? I get that. But it's a percentage, just like through me, my merch that I sell, if anybody buys it off a Cafe Press, I only get a percentage of that. As opposed to if I make it myself. So I've decided to make it myself so that I earn all of that domain money myself. But
because you did all of it. Yeah.
But that's the thing. Could we, with all of the social media that already exists, if we decided that this underground so-and-so promoted each other, like you said, you went to other bands that had broken up to find your people. A lot of bands have taken the model that they're going to work with one other band so that they cross-promote each other, so that those fans that like them go to that show, those fans go to their show, and that all of that grows. Do you think that there's a way that we can all grow together to crack this thing so that we don't have to give up our money and our creativity and our fucking originality to other people who really are only in it for money? I'm sorry, I'll get off.
No, I'm totally on board with this because I love it, because it does break my heart to go to these third parties. It does hurt. And especially because, god damn, how much did we spend to press this album? 4 songs.
I don't want to think about that.
Yeah, no, it financially hurt us as people.
Here's my question. Did you reach out to find somebody first that could do it?
No.
Well, I can list probably 5 people off of my hand that you could have gone to besides CD Baby.
I'd love to hear that. That would be
Yeah?
awesome.
Because the First Rule does all of their own recording and pressing.
I wish
Did
they
you
would
know
have
that?
told us.
See, but that's why you gotta watch this show! It has fucking tidbits in it every single step of the way.
There's fucking perks.
Because they're just one. But I know Blues and Corduroy do their own thing. $100 Habit, who's on this show, that are located in Roselle. They have their own recording studio and do all of their own music. I'm trying to come up with the 5 real quick here. The Trees of Life do it. Oh fuck! Why is it losing me? You guys did it in our basement.
Did what?
In the Lake Records
Okay.
does it, and he is just right, I guess, just over the border a little bit. But a band from Oklahoma found him and did their tapes. So there's tons of do-it-yourself stuff, so that you don't have to rate yourself. Now, see, I grew up poor, like fucking really, really poor. So my whole thing is free. If I can connect with you and we can come up with some mutual agreement so that we all benefit, that's what I'm looking for. Why am I going to put a lot of money into something that I know I can find a different resource for? It's all about being resourceful. So, reach out the next time. Ask questions, goddammit. Do your research and find people. Because why should you give up your own hard-earned money when you can do it cheaper and cross-promote with a band who already has their own equipment in their basement and is doing it?
Oh yeah, I mean the recording we did with a local guy named Jared Preisgoda, and he's now actually working at a real studio, which is rad because he worked in his basement for the longest time, and he did every single one of our records, and he's great. He's so amazing, and so in that aspect, we always went to a local person. But, I remember reaching out to a couple people, the first time around. That was the only time I reached out, the first time around. It's like, well, how do we get this on, iTunes, or how do we get this on whatever platform? And the answers I got was, those 2 platforms, CD Baby, DistroKid. And after that, it was just following that pattern.
I fully encourage you afterwards, and after we're done and you go home and whatever, watch the James White interview. Anybody listening that's in a band, fucking go watch the James White interview, because he's going to tell you, A, what a super fan is, how you can market to certain people, cross-promote with other local bands, and keep all of the money in-house to yourself.
That would be awesome.
It is all on that fucking interview. He was amazing. And through this experience, he's been able to do multiple fests, not only in Florida where he's currently located, but in places like Ohio and Milwaukee and other places where he has connection. So you gotta network with the people because this.
Shout out to our boys.
Shout out to James, because here we grow. That's his whole thing. So,
It's so great.
so I encourage that because I really like you guys, and you are what all of the hype was. Every band who's been on here so far, when I've asked, who do you want to play with? Who's fun to see? Action Boy, Action Boy. When I've asked people, who do you want to see on the show? Action Boy. And I was like,
You're right.
okay.
I
And you
remember
reached,
hearing your name now.
yes,
Not even kidding
like,
you.
multiple
Like,
times.
once you put it in that context, it like came back to me. Not even kidding. Just saying. Go on.
So we're not doing everything wrong.
No, you're not. No. I'm sorry. He's gonna leave and go, Jess was a total bitch. No, I'm you in a different format for your band. See?
There you
See?
go.
See what you did?
That still weirds me out though that anybody said that, but that's awesome. I love it.
But that means that you are doing something right because you have a unique original sound that is catchy and that people want to listen to. So you were on 95 yesterday and you said you got passed?
Yeah.
Fuck you listeners for 95. Fuck you.
Eat
Just
shit.
saying.
But at the same time, maybe Will 95 isn't so bad.
He's no, that doesn't
Dude,
count.
Mike, what are you doing here?
What were you gonna say about
I
95?
say one of the people who texted in the past, I guess, Andrew, what did they call us? Went,
Oh, they called us prepubescent Weezer?
Yes!
And we get compared to Weezer so much.
Do you know what I thought
That's
you
not a
sounded
horrible
like?
thing. I love Weezer.
I thought
like
you
what
sounded like
I'm
Holy
saying
Boys
that.
Confusion.
Honestly.
Yes.
Oh shit.
That's what we said
Yeah,
Tuesday.
like
That's rad.
the song that you sent us that we played Tuesday,
Yeah, played tonight.
LOL memes from hell.
Mhm.
We started playing it and I was like, this is Lucky Boys Confusion.
That's
like,
rad.
That's what
I like
makes-
that more.
Yeah,
I like
yay!
Weezer, but I never understood. Maybe there's some songs they have out there that I don't realize sound like us, but we get that all the time, good or bad. Sometimes people mean it as a compliment. Sometimes they're trying to diss us or whatever, but we get that all the time.
That you're Weezer?
Yeah, all
Not
the time.
at all.
Before these guys were even in the band, we got that all the time.
I can't say that anything you sound like sounds like any Weezer
You
song.
had one song that kind of made me think.
That's
Weezer.
and I agree.
That's
with
it.
you.
That's
the
it.
Sunshine one?
I don't know if I know by name, but it
Flavor-
sounded
Flavor
very
of the Month.
Weezer-esque.
Yeah.
And
It's
I
like a
liked
slow
it,
song.
but it did,
Flavor
yes.
of the Month.
Yeah.
Everything else, though, no.
That one I totally understand.
Yeah.
All the rest, I don't see it, but I don't see it
I
at all.
agree with
But
you 100%.
we've gotten that forever.
So, I mean, before we even got on and, you were talking, that you get lots of criticism. So like, it sounded as almost like the scales of justice were uneven with your negative critiques. Do you frequently get, like, people who are like, fuck you guys?
No.
No,
That's good, because
Yeah.
that hasn't been my experience.
No, I think for 95 Will Rock, they're more of the hard rock type of crowd, and we kind of expected.
as a matter of
No, they're music industry fed. We're gonna go with that.
No, what I was going to say, as a matter of fact, one of the people who passed us said that it's good, but it's not Will Rock.
Yeah, they said
too, so.
KQX or like one of the 101.1s would have been perfect for us,
That
which
was-
we were on like the last Sunday too.
You were
Yeah.
in 101?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
do like a demo thing at like 10 o'clock,
Cool.
and then
That was a lot of fun, and no one called in and said a thing, which is my favorite.
yeah.
Just listen. You don't have to say anything.
I still want
Prepubescent Weezer.
I still want that on our next album.
Yeah, call
That
us,
should
whoever
be.
said that, if you're watching. But yet, no, we don't get that a ton. Their listener base is just different than what our genre is,
Mhm.
and so we understood some criticism. Some of it was just more original than we expected.
Yeah. Yeah, another one was Blink-182 and Weird Al Yankovic had a love child, and also
Which I didn't take as a criticism.
No, that was
at
that
all.
was,
I love
that was a
Weird
very
Al.
good
Yeah,
compliment.
that was rad. I love Weird Al.
You can't hurt my feelings.
How do you feel about the other side of that spectrum?
Shake
though?
it up, shake it up. So who's the
The
mom
Blink?
and dad?
Yeah.
Who's Power Bottom?
Probably Blink-182.
Right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
all the small things, I mean, Weird Al.
Whoa.
Oh, that worked so well. It was
You earned
scary.
your living on that
What
one.
are your influences? Let's talk about that.
There you go.
Hey, let's go.
I'm a pop punk kid from heart. Like, Blink-182, Green Day, Simple Plan. I have a
Screeching
Blink-182
Weasel.
tattoo on my arm. Like, Blink-182, Green Day, Simple Plan. And then, when I was in high school, I got into, like, metalcore and hardcore and stuff like that. Branched out, found a band called Good Luck Varsity that I saw at a local show. I went to my friend's show They were in a band called Saga City. I saw them at Grays Lake Oasis, and this band from Detroit came out before them called Good Luck Varsity, and they totally like changed my mind on music, like 2012, something like that. And then I even branched out more into Brand New and Balance and Composure, and some more like not standard pop punk style songs. And so I always use that model is like go to local shows that your friends' bands are playing, and then stay the whole time. Show up when the show starts, leave after the show ends. When the sound guy leaves, hang out with the people, talk to them. Because I found my absolute favorite band, Good Luck Varsity, by doing that, and I became greatest of friends of them. And they went on to do bigger and better things. I have a Good Luck Varsity tattoo on my leg because I love that band so much, and they just really shaped me as a musician as I grew up. So, go to local shows, kids.
Great.
What about you, Andrew? Influences?
Influences, man. Mine goes from Frank Sinatra to Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah!
That's rad.
But
Hammer Smash Face?
But like
The song's about having blood from the
like where like
Yes, I come blood. Yes, yeah.
Where's the
Yes.
It's coming. Oh, yes. I fucking know some Cannibal Corpse. Fuck y'all. I like ska.
Ace
Anyway.
Ventura?
But yeah, like the medium is basically like Blink-182. Travis Barker is one of my idols. The Wonder Years. I just got into Tiny Moving Parts, who's a relatively new band. Their drummer's amazing. I'm trying to think. I have so many. Sum 41, like a lot of the pop punk type of stuff. But then I can listen to any type of genre. I love jazz. Jazz is the shit. But then I can listen to August Burns Red. It just depends on like my mood. So, but yeah, it literally goes from some good old 1940s, 50s music to people screaming their heads off about eating babies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My daughter at 2 was screaming like Hammered Smash Face and stuff. She was pretty.
What's cool about that is like it's just a horror movie in a song.
It is.
That's why it's so cool. It's just like
It scares people though.
I'm getting a whole horror movie in 3.5 minutes. Like,
That's what I
it's
always
fucking
tell
cool.
people. They're like, well, death metal's so gory and bloody. I'm like, hey, you like horror movies though?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't
And
realize.
not all of it is.
I mean-
Like Nile is not about any of that.
Well, yeah, they're about like
They're fucking
Egyptian mythology
Egyptians
all that,
and
yeah.
super good. My uncle endorses them because he worked for Dean Guitar.
Oh, nice.
Oh, shit. That's rad. I didn't realize you and I had that in common because I like a lot of swing music and old like Frank Sinatra stuff and like all that. But my main influences I think, have been
Jim Beam.
Jim Beam. There you go. No, my first influences were the bands on the Tony Hawk Pro Skater soundtrack.
Yes.
That's how I discovered punk rock. Was the first Tony Hawk game. They had Dead Kennedys, they had Suicidal Tendencies, they had Primus, and that's how I was introduced to punk rock. And then that made me get into my local scene, and I got into Rule 22, and God, I'm drawing a blank right now, and that pisses me off because I love these bands. But there were so many local bands back then that were doing great. But I think as far as bigger influences, there's a band called I Am the Avalanche that I've loved for a long time. There's, let's see here, Bright Eyes, oddly enough, that was a huge influence as far as lyrical writing. They're more of a folksy, kind of sad, emo thing. I love Brand New. I'm sad about the news of Jesse Lacey. He got caught up in some shit, and it's not good, but their music specifically and their lyrics have always meant a lot to me. I also grew up during a lot of the, when the emo scene was hitting and like Hawthorne Heights, and I pretended not to like those bands, but I fucking love them. I totally did. So I think it's this mixture of punk rock and emo bands. I love My Chemical Romance, and I still love Sum 41 and Good Charlotte and all these weird bands that I think other people would label guilty pleasures, but I am okay with saying that I like them. And it's all metal from here.
I'm kind of like Andrew, I listen to everything, but I'll keep it short and cut to a couple of bands that are most pertinent to my inspirations for this band. Let's say Jeff Rosenstock and Sorority Noise. I love those.
Oh shit, I forgot.
I love Jeff Rosenstock. He's probably my favorite within anything wrong with punk. And a lot of post-rock too, such as Jacob. They're like an ambient post-rock band out of New Zealand. And fucking If These Trees Could Talk and Merchant Circles, I'd say.
He could go into the depths of fucking music and like pull
Yeah.
bands out of his ass and like that
Really?
you've never heard of. It's scary. It's
That's amazing.
it upsets me.
Why? That
He's-
just means that you don't use the internet well.
Yeah,
Put the porn
that's true.
down, motherfucker. And start doing some research.
Stop looking at memes.
He's better at it
memes.
than I am. You know, I have.
Staring at a screen.
Yep. I wrote those lyrics. Yeah.
Yes, you did.
So who does most of the writing?
I'd say
Mike.
it's
Are
Mike.
you the band dad?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I do lyrical stuff, but these
That
guys.
just looked priestly. And his hair's parted so nice.
Oh, that was a nice pat and slide.
Wow.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Are you pretzels? Okay.
There you go.
Me and Dave have helped on like one song, basically.
No, they're not giving themselves enough credit. So I do the lyrics and the rest of the stuff. This whole album, the new EP, was in their hands. Dave wrote all the lead guitar parts.
I did write one song from start to finish. That was essentially For Your Strong Part 2.
That was rad though. It was an awesome song. It just didn't
fit the direction which we were going. So,
But it was such a good song. We need to release that at some point, like as a single. And then Josh came in, and he did his bass parts the way he wanted. No one told him what to do. I think Treading Water was the only one we were like, hey, do this.
Yeah, because it's a bass-heavy song where, you know, the bass starts the song and the bass line is the same throughout. And that was one you actually wrote that, like, we needed a fourth song for the EP, and, you know, it just kind of came out of your ass. And it's actually, like, my favorite song.
We wrote that a month before the EP came out.
Yeah.
I think we did pretty well for...
I'd say, didn't we actually have to do the demo for that during the regular recording of the rest
It
of the
was,
songs?
like, just before.
That was
it
the only song we didn't have prepared.
And it's my favorite out of all of them because it's like...
Well, good. I'm glad
It's
to hear
nice
that.
and, like, you know, there's the ambient feel at the same time. It's like the ending part is really drivey and cool sounding, so...
Well, I'm glad you guys like the song. You have to play it, so. But yeah, even Andrew, as I mentioned at the beginning, he changed a lot of the songs we already had. You know, we already had these songs, and he changed up the drums and made them better. So they write all their parts. I write the lyrics and my guitar part. You know, and that's it. So I don't want to say I'm writing the whole song because their parts are there. I don't write his drums for him. I don't write his lead guitar parts. I don't write the bass, you know, so it is collaborative, but, you know, I usually come in with my lyrics. They even had a say-so on the lyrics of Flying to the Sun.
Yeah,
They were a lot different and a lot more,
on the nose.
yeah, they're a little too obvious. Not enough metaphor and stuff like that.
So, while I give you the opportunity here to discuss where you're located so that people can find you, I'm going to go grab the new album so that we can talk about that and show it and
Okay.
talk about the art. So talk about where people can find you, what social media platforms you're on, and I'm going to run upstairs.
Awesome.
So,
Do it.
what social media we're on? I know for sure Facebook, Instagram, we're on Twitter too, right?
Yep, we have Twitter.
Tumblr as well.
Oh, I forgot about that. That was a good one. Yeah,
Holy
we do have a Tumblr.
Oh man, there's fanfics of us?
I drew most of them.
Okay.
We have Bandcamp, so that's www.actionboy.bandcamp.com. We do have a SoundCloud. I think for some reason people don't think we do. You can find us on iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, Deezer, all those things. Everybody already said Facebook. We have some weird stuff out there too, right? Like we.
Well, do we have a LinkedIn?
Yeah, there's an Action Boy link. No, I'm
That would
sorry.
be
We have a YouTube.
Awesome.
We have a YouTube page.
Oh, yeah,
we have a
YouTube.
music video that we shot.
We do have a music video, yeah.
Shot a couple months ago. That's out now. That's
Jacob helped us out with that, so good job,
You're
Jacob.
fine.
What's his name? Jacob Venditti? Is that how you say his name?
I don't.
Here,
I,
I
hope
think
so.
I think that's right, but I don't want to.
And AJ, thank you for helping us.
AJ and Ben.
Ben did a great job. Our actors in the music video did a great job. So that's where you can find us online.
And guess what? I grabbed the album. Hey, we're gonna show it. We're gonna show it. Who did your artwork?
AJ, let me look up how to say her last name. I think it's Shantek. But yeah, AJ did a great job in the artwork. She did a lot of our T-shirts too.
Ooh, you have merch?
Yes, we
Yeah, we have 2 different T-shirts and what else do we have? Stickers and CDs and were you gonna say sweaters? We have tapes
I wish we had
because
sweaters.
that's like the hipster thing to do now is tapes. But
Oh.
I was like so against tapes, and then so many people kept asking us at shows, "Do you have tapes?"
Yeah,
Here,
Patrick does tapes.
There's
So many
AJ.
tapes. He does so many tapes. All of the tapes.
He'll make you.
I
a
was
mixtape.
okay. I wasn't fond of the tapes because I don't have a tape player. I don't have any way to play them.
You like to discriminate against people because of things you don't have?
Yes. Yep. That's exactly what
I
it
was
is.
gonna say, I actually
I
gave.
also don't like airplanes.
I was gonna say, I
Because
actually,
you don't have one?
I don't have one. And, yeah.
Just, I made it real quick.
Yes, of course.
Go for it.
Oh yeah, I gave one of those tapes to one of my coworkers. He's an old punk, like 60 years old.
Yeah?
And I gave him the tape, and you know what he told me? He's like, I don't have a tape player. There's no way I can play this tape right here.
We
So
have a
even the older people don't have that shit anymore.
We have a tape player, a record player, a somewhere of Zune.
I tried to pause it and they wouldn't take it.
And a talk boy.
I don't even know what that is.
What? What? You are young.
What is that?
A talk,
Talk boy? It's just
What
a
is that?
cassette. It's,
Oh
it's a
my
Walkman.
god! I
Walkman?
can't
It's a
even.
Walkman with a microphone.
No.
You need to go watch some Kevin McAllister.
I
So-
had
I've
a
seen Home
tape
Alone.
player Walkman when I was a
Home
kid.
Alone, you know,
Oh,
like
Home Alone 2.
they,
Remember that
they would
thing
do
you
the
used?
thing and he'd
Yes.
record it, or like the silly commercial was like.
Hey, stop drooling on me.
The brother was being babysat by the older sister, and he like records, "Hey kids, we're home early," and he shuts the door and he plays it behind her all slow. Yeah, and it's all slow and low, and she's like, "Oh," 'cause she has a boyfriend over. 90s,
I remember the scene and I remember
He
Home Alone.
also
but
orders
I,
a hotel room over the phone with the damn thing.
So,
And then he meets Donald Trump.
Yes.
oh.
Yeah.
Isn't it horrible?
That's
Oh,
upsetting. Damn.
how did the name Action Boy come to be? Why that?
Oh, yeah, why?
Wasn't it a perk from Fallout?
So I'm a huge video game nerd, and we had like 40 different names, the original members. No one could agree on anything, ever. We all fought over names and...
That's why they broke up.
Yeah, that was the real reason. It was always stupid arguments, and the first one was the name, and I think everybody else in the band wanted Spruce Mouthman. It was like some weird, like,
I'm really glad you're not that.
yeah, me too. And that was our name for like one show.
We're
And
Spruce Mouthmen. You guys are
like
fucking mouthwash. Go
it,
home.
it was like a reference to some weird TV show they liked, and they really loved it. And so the runner-up was, we all liked the Fallout video games, you know, the Fallout series. And there's a perk in Fallout called Action Boy, and it increases your action points, and you can do more things and whatever. And so I thought it sounded like a kitschy name, and that was it. And I kind of forced everyone to be into it. These guys didn't have a choice. They didn't decide.
They already joined.
I
yes.
still want fetish for grizzly bears.
Fetish for grizzly bears?
I don't remember you ever
Oh,
bringing
wow.
that up. That's a great idea.
I still prefer Action Men because we
Yeah.
Because you're not prepubescent.
we are adults. Action Men.
We'll do that when you turn 30.
But it needs to be the Action Men.
The Action Man. Okay.
The
It's French.
upcoming shows. What do you guys got planned?
I think our next show is until May.
It's in
That's
May.
only in a week and a half.
Yeah,
By the way.
May 25th.
Okay, so it's a month.
Yeah, it's May 25th in DeKalb at the Cafe House.
No, the House Cafe.
House Cafe, whatever.
He's the only one who doesn't know what that place is.
Don't we also have one planned for in Lansing, Michigan? It was a house show.
We're playing Displaced Manor, I think it's called, in Lansing, Michigan.
Ooh,
We're
Jeremiah, our super fan from Michigan. You should go to that show.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be fucking awesome. And we
Networking.
got Kraken Cakes just up the road, a little bit south of here, right?
Yeah, it's
Beach
in
Park?
Beach Park.
I've never been there.
That's in
It's
July.
a cake shop.
I think
It's
June.
down the road.
The
It's
cakes are
so-
freaking awesome.
It's a bakery,
It's
I
a
heard.
cake shop with
It's
slot
good.
machines and a liquor license, and they do punk shows.
That's
It's
what I
so
heard.
good.
It's the best place in the world.
Yes,
Yeah, it's
because
awesome.
the dude from Inbound met me
Ryan, I can't
Don't
do
have
last
it.
week. I'm not hemming and hawing. He met me last week at Hattrick's and was like, "Hey," and I was like, "Hi, should I know you?" Because he sauntered over and was like, "Hey, here, internet friends. Just because you're friends with me on the internet doesn't mean A, I look at your profile, or B, know your face or name. Introduce yourself."
That's understandable. 'Cause a few people
I
have
need
done that
to
me
tell
now.
people that because it's like, "Oh my God, you're Jess," and I'm like, "Who are you, Mr. Excited?" Like, "Hi, I'm Jess." See that? That's a handshake, right?
There you
Thank
go.
you.
Don't be all bad.
Someone
Please say that to
at the Grays Lake
He looks
Oasis
there.
came up to me crying, and that was like my least favorite way of being greeted at a show. was crying. It was not fun. They
No?
really liked our band.
Like Michael
but,
Jackson?
Was she
Oh
like
my God.
emotionally crying? And I say she because like,
Yep.
Cross too hard.
Yeah, you're correct.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
both aspects. And they're,
I'm sorry about that.
like
they're-
that.
yeah, it was Andrew, and he was just really upset. No, and they're still a big fan of the band, and I really appreciate that. But that one moment was very scary for me. Was very scary.
Don't greet
because-
people
Because I
crying.
thought the next sentence was going to be, "Are you my
pregnant."
dad?" And I just wasn't prepared for that. So
No?
at least it was, "I really like your band."
Yeah, I mean that's important
Yeah.
because otherwise we're delving into a whole realm of creepy that
Yeah,
we don't
no.
want to know about because
No.
you ain't that old. So.
Yep. So it would have been very upsetting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
completely. I now owe child support for 18 years and I'm 27. How the fuck did that happen?
Yeah. That
Magic, my friends, because you rolled a d20 and bad shit happened back there, you know.
Yeah, you're gonna look at me because I play D&D.
Yeah.
It's okay.
We knew
It's
a few
okay.
of those.
We do know a few of those. So, you have a few shows coming up. People can find you on various social media platforms. They've heard you here. Anything else you want to tell to people before we end this evening?
To the world.
Check out the new album. Don't
It's
spill
empty.
your beer.
It's empty, and
There you
that's just foam.
Okay, I'm glad. Check out the new album. It's called Treading Water. We
laugh
made
when you say
it
it.
by ourselves, and that would be great. Anybody else? Thank you for having us.
Can we
Thank you.
purchase it?
You can purchase it on. Question?
Do you have merchandise?
We do have merchandise. We have T-shirts.
Where do you find that stuff is the question.
Do you have a shop section on Facebook?
Yes.
Yes, we do.
We do, and we also have it on Bandcamp and Store Envy. But mostly Facebook. That would be the best place for you to get that because then I'll know right away, and then he'll know right away, and then he'll ship it to you if you live far
And if it's
away.
late, it's his fault.
Yeah.
Hi.
Because I'm the guy.
That's his job.
That's my job.
Cool.
Yep, he's the merch guy.
Our merch turns around pretty quick. How quick's your merch turn around?
Haven't had to do it yet.
Challenge this band, motherfucker. Thomas, if you're listening in California, I say go buy some of their stuff so that they have to mail something.
We
Yes.
love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to mail something out, and
We gotta send some stuff to Ireland soon.
Yeah.
I have a friend Connor.
Soon?
who's- Yeah.
Oh, see, so you have shit to do. Wow, turnaround time's real poor because they don't remember their shit.
Well, see, with
this
my
is the
other
first
band,
I'm hearing of this.
with my other band, I sent him some tracks. I sent him some Action Boy tracks too. So I want to do it all together. And the Almost, we have an album coming out in a couple weeks.
That's great, but they better come on the show then if you're going to talk
Yes.
about them.
But I'm gonna decide to send them together because we don't want to
Yeah, yes.
pay for it twice because it's
No.
gonna be a lot of
No, the shipping to
international
Ireland would be
shipping.
easy.
So soon I'll get that out to him. And
Coming soon to Ireland, Action Boy.
That's cool.
yes, we'll play in your local pub and fight you.
Hey, man. I don't know if you'd fight anybody, right?
No, I'd be scared.
I know. People crying at you scare you.
I'm scared of a lot of things.
I can see him doing this.
We'll get Dave to fight you.
No. Why? Because he likes
He's got
metal.
to tie his hair up first with his
Dave's,
hairband.
Dave's
Final
not
question of
here,
the night.
man. Dave's
Do
not
any
here.
of you ever listen to ska music?
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
Of course. My first concert was
No.
a Less Than Jake meet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
less than
I like
Jake.
Real Big Fish, right? That's
Yeah.
gonna be the
Streetlight
one ska
Manifesto.
fucking band.
Streetlight Manifesto.
Yeah, do you know any other bands beside a third wave band? I win!
You win.
Yeah?
When
The Specials, probably a band.
Oh shit, no, we saw them. Didn't they play Riot Fest
Yes,
a
they
couple
did.
years back? We saw them live.
They did.
I do remember that. That was rad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
I didn't know them till then, though.
I mean, there were a couple.
Really? Because have you ever seen Snatch or Fight Club? Because
Yes.
their music appears in those shows.
Really?
Ghost Town? Yeah.
Not Ghost Town, but Snatch and Fight Club.
The name is Ghost Town. The song that is played
Oh,
most
okay.
often would be that, which it appears in Snatch. They're driving in the car. This town is coming like a ghost town. No?
That's fucking rad.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yes.
I didn't know.
A lot of ska music. Have you ever seen the show Kablam that used to be on Nickelodeon?
Yes! Holy
The
shit!
Toasters did that theme song.
Yes, they did.
I don't remember.
Two Tone Army is the name of the song that they took that from. Hey, the more you know, motherfuckers! Listen to ska! Anyways, I'm really like a ska metalhead because I love it so
Yeah.
much I'm gonna beat her in the face with it.
Dave does that to us all the time.
It's okay.
I
So,
routinely beat Mike in the
That's
face.
why I look like this.
are you going to go to Stinko de Mayo?
Stinko de Mayo.
Oh my goodness. Do you go to any other local shows
Yeah.
that you don't play?
Wow, that was questionable.
Yeah? So Stinko de Mayo is going to be done in Wadsworth by Slaughter Party Really and Stay Up All Night and
Oh,
Fight.
is that all the things I keep getting invites to, like every
It is
single day,
a
every single Sunday?
giant list of bands, but they have a lot of bands coming from like all over the place. So I think they have a Detroit band, they have an East Coast band, I think from New Jersey. They have a Missouri band coming. I think there's somebody or two bands coming from St. Louis. So like they have a ton of stuff. Like there's like 40 bands playing there. It's all day. It's all ages. You bring your own beer, and they're going to have food available.
Bring your own beer.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
The venue, so the place that it's going to be is on one of the guys' Stay Up All Night and Fights like farm place. It's right next to the train tracks, and this place is really cool. We went there for a Halloween party, and it's fucking badass. They converted like the back of this farm area where it used to be like a flower vegetable garden and like a chicken coop into a stage, and like they have a little trailer and they serve like and have electrical so that they can serve food, and it was really cool.
That's rad. That sounds rad.
Stinko de Mayo on the 5th of May with lots of bands for free. There is no cost. It is a free show, all ages. Bring your own beer.
I like
Come
that
eat.
better.
Come show support for the underground music scene. It'll be great. And you can come tomorrow. Not tomorrow because I'm a day ahead. Saturday at Patrick's. We got a show.
How much?
It's $5 right now online. Pre-sale tickets are $5.
$8
Can
if
we
you show up the day of.
Yeah, look at that. You know. But Worm and No Dead Heroes are the Chicago bands that are trying to break the scene up here. And they're coming. I'm playing with Old Wolves and The Indeed.
Oh shit.
The Indeed is a Lake County band.
Yeah, that's Old Wolves. Where is Old Wolves from?
He's from Genoa City,
We played with him a couple times. Maybe you guys weren't there yet.
probably.
But yeah, I know his
Can we touch on one more thing?
Yeah, beer guy, what's
the man,
up?
The man plays in socks. That needs to be noted. He
does.
plays in socks.
He plays.
Not
drums.
with shoes, in socks.
Yeah.
Mismatching.
That's rare.
You're lucky
It's
he
very
didn't
rare.
take off
Why
his
is that
socks.
rare? The other dude played without shoes on too, and he changed his
Which-
whole clothes.
Which one?
He changed his clothes. That's
Oh,
he came,
no,
he
that
came
doesn't-
Superman when he played the drums.
I didn't notice that.
All right, you're the first one he noticed. You count.
Hooray!
Woo.
This guy's falling
That's a very
asleep.
rare thing, though.
It's
I mean,
awesome.
So, without any more ridiculous conversation, we will leave you this evening with Action Boy. Find them online, like and follow our page, share with other bands you know, and learn how to build this web so that we don't have to pay big music anymore, and
Yeah.
you guys get the profits. Okay?
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.